Hey guys, welcome back to another redstone video. Today a quick one, but quite useful. So I needed a hopper minecart unloader for one of my farms and quickly came up with this one here, which is based on something that methodzz recently shown me. This was the hopper minecart unloader created by Inspector Talon. So I showed this in the furnace ray video a while ago. It's quite neat. So it uses the fact that the hopper minecart here snaps on the rail here. It's partially inside of the cauldron. The hopper minecart would go into the hopper and the items would land on the left side. So they land on the water stream, then could be put into your storage system, for example. So I adjusted this a little bit to make a one-white tileable version. Okay, so let's check it out. Works the same way. But the hopper minecart, or it could also be a chest minecart, is aligned a bit differently. So we use an amethyst cluster here to align the minecart, unlike the chain here. And this way you can actually have the rails on the right side and basically the hopper on the left side. So then the hopper minecart item would just go back into the dropper here and be dispensed. And this is done with this detector rail here. So the minecart drives over it, and when this turns off, would trigger the dropper dispenser combo for a second time. There's also a neat way to turn this off. You can just power the node block here. You can see now the hopper minecart stays inside the dropper, and if you unpower it again, get another signal. Okay, so here would be now the tileable version. There's also some variations you can use. So instead of using the amethyst cluster, you can also use a skull. So depending on the farms you have, this might actually be cheaper. So there's also a way to do it. Technically, there's even a third way. You could also use a half-eaten cake that would be on top of a bottom trapdoor. So something like this here. But of course, this is directional because you can only eat the cake from one side. It would actually be nice if you could eat the cake from multiple sides. So depending on where you click at it, I would use up the slices differently. But yeah, it would be directional with cakes. And of course, instead of using mud here, you can also use soul sand. It also seems like this is not directional, so I built this in several directions. And as you can see, it would also work this way. So this also has the big advantage that it's quite easy to get rid of the minecarts again. So if you don't need them all the time compared to 1.8 and previous versions, we had basically just minecart unloaders. You can also get rid of the hopper minecarts and they wouldn't cause any static lag in the end. So that's actually a big advantage we have finally. Right, so you could use this for mob farms, sugarcane farms, or bamboo farms, for example. You need a lot of hopper minecarts to collect items. So I'll quickly set up a bamboo farm here. Let's try it out. This will probably cause some lag to break all that bamboo now. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But that wasn't really the point of the video, just wanted to show this system here. Oh god, it's really bad. Okay. It's probably best to do the showcase when it's not quite as laggy. So there's also where the system really pays off compared to the old minecart unloaders. It's a lot quicker. So you don't need to wait until all the hoppers are sucked out of the minecart with a hopper or maybe two hoppers. It's quite instant. As you can see, a ton of items immediately got picked up. And then, it doesn't take long to dispense the minecart again. There we go. Now it can be completely filled again. So this definitely has a huge advantage over the old systems. So it wasn't really in the scope of the video, but as I said, you can now make lag-friendlier farms. So you could, for example, launch the flying machines here every, let's say, 10 minutes. And then you have the hopper minecarts here active for 1 or 2 minutes. So basically how long it would take until the flying machine would arrive back. So it's definitely a nice way to make your farms lag-friendlier by just storing the minecarts like 90% of the time. Alright, so in case I want to use the system or build it, I don't think we're gonna need a block-by-block tutorial here. I'm just gonna point out some of the things. So this is a cauldron filled with lava. Then on top you need a mud or soul sand block. So a block that you stand on that isn't a full block high, but you can place rails on. You don't necessarily need the powered rails here, but you might have some issues with the normal rails because at the end they would always try to connect to each other. It's a bit annoying, so you would need to extend this. So it's probably easier to just use powered rails and put a redstone block above it to power them. But you can also do it like this here, just for example with the redstone torches. Okay, then it's important that the rails here in the back would face this way. So the minecart would snap on top of it, would be half on top of the cauldron. If they would face this way, so connect like this, then you would have the issue that the minecart would basically snap completely on top of this rail and wouldn't touch the lava. So always need to place the rails this way. Okay, what else is important? So here we got a dropper and a dispenser on top. You need to power every third node block. Technically, it's a little bit cheaper, at least on the side. You could also use trapdoors like that if you want a little bit cheaper. There you go. So this would also work. Instead of using a slab here, you could also use a trapdoor. So the slab, the only purpose is to contain the items. So they would jump up a little bit otherwise. But it's not really necessary. And then, as I said, instead of using the amethyst cluster, by the way, this is the cluster, so the full-sized one, the large amethyst, but would be too small, so you need to use this one here. You can also use skulls or heads. So this could be used for all those dragon heads you collected from the end. This would also work. So in case something is still unclear, there's also a world download you could check out. I also put a roof on top of the bamboo farm, so it doesn't lag your system as much. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks guys for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye!